Hi, I'm Jen Anderson from Jen's Guiltless Gourmet and Change the Menu. And I'm a vegan and vegetarian chef that loves to make your favorite foods a little bit healthier. And today's dilemma, what do you do if your Valentine is vegetarian? Maybe you're not the most experienced cook in the world, but you want to show a little bit more initiative than just opening up a canned jar of red sauce. Well, I'm making a vegetarian stroganoff that is so rich and creamy and tasty, and it shows initiative. So, we are of course going to start with a pasta. I'm going to use an organic pasta. I've started boiling the water, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt and olive oil. And if you haven't boiled pasta before, make sure your water is nice and boiling before you put it in. We'll give that a quick stir. Put the lid on and let that get going. I'm using actually a non-dairy butter, even though there is dairy in the sour cream I'm using. If you wanted to make this a vegan recipe, you could use a non-dairy sour cream. Now while that's melting, I am going to chop up some garlic. And here's a little trick. For those of you who don't want to spend 5 minutes peeling a clove of garlic, just set it down on your cutting board, face your knife away from yourself, the knife on the garlic, palm down, and give it a whack. And basically, it just kind of separates and peels off, just like that. Nice and easy. You know, so many people are trying vegetarian lifestyles now, and relationships can get complicated. Because what if you're vegetarian and your partner's not? What if you've just met somebody and they're vegetarian? But it really, it doesn't have to cause problems. You can work through it. Because there's a lot of dishes that are just as good vegetarian as they are in normal preparation. And I really think this is one of them. While that's starting to saute, I'm also gonna add the onions and our portobello mushrooms. Now these are little baby bellas, so they chop up just about the right size. And we're gonna get those cooking down. Now vegetarian meats don't need to cook as long as regular meats, so you're noticing. In some recipes, you would actually flavor and start sauteing the meat first. In this recipe, I'm actually starting the onions and the mushrooms in there first. Now there's different sources of vegetarian proteins. There's tempeh, there's tofu, and then you get into your whole fake meat genre. You can get meat crumbles, you can get sliced meats, you can get deli style meats. And again, some of them you're gonna love, some of them aren't gonna be to your taste. So it's a matter of finding what you like. And if you try one and it's not your favorite, don't give up hope. Try another one. These come in nice strips that kind of look like sliced, pre-cooked beef. I'm gonna cut them into slightly smaller sections. And they're already somewhat pre-spiced. Just taste that. There's a little bit of flavor there. All about how you spice it. So I'm also opening a bottle of wine because we're going to use it in the recipe. And this Greenfin organic white plain old table wine is really tasty actually. I use it in cooking a lot because it's inexpensive, but you can serve it at a really nice dinner and people will be, oh, this is a lovely wine. And you're like, thank you, it's organic. And they'll think you spent a fortune and you didn't. Oh, this is looking so good. I can smell that. Now these we're gonna spice before we put them in the pan. I've got some steak seasoning, and it's basically an over-the-counter steak seasoning. Here we go. Now this is just gonna absorb the flavor from the onions and from the mushrooms. Oh wow, those smells, the onions and the portobello mushrooms, our vegan meat with that steak seasoning, it smells like steak. I'm gonna add some of our table wine. And again, this is a simple recipe, so even if you haven't cooked a lot before, this is a good starter recipe, and it looks impressive. All right, I'm gonna add a little more coarse pepper, a little more salt. Keep giving these a stir to make sure they're all playing together nicely. These are almost done. So now I'm gonna make the sour cream sauce, which is really easy. You take the sour cream, you put it in the pan. But it will taste like you know what you're doing and like you spent a long time doing it, which is what all Valentines love. Women love initiative, guys. So we're just gonna mix that sour cream together in all of this. I've got one more little secret ingredient to add to this, It's a vegan Worcestershire sauce. Traditional Worcestershire sauce has anchovies in it, which if you're a true vegan, you're not gonna eat those, or vegetarian, because it's fish. But this is a vegan version, and it just gives that additional layering of flavor. It's so good. All right, so as I'm letting this just come to a soft simmer, I'm just gonna let it cook down so that the mushrooms and the onions are soft, the sauce starts to thicken, and I'm gonna drain our pasta. I'll be right back. I've drained our pasta, it's ready to go, and our sauce is infusing beautifully. The sour cream is picking up all of the flavors from the onions and the portobello mushrooms, that white wine, the steak seasoning in there, the vegan Worcestershire. I'm just gonna give a little taste test, just to, oh my gosh, that's so good. Yeah, you can turn a meat eater vegetarian with this. So I am just gonna toss a little bit of fresh parsley in here. It will give a pop of flavor, and we'll put a little bit extra on top. All right, ready to plate this. Guys, a nice presentation is just actually put a plate on the bottom, then put a bowl on top of it. No, I want to top that with just a little bit of extra ground pepper, a little bit of extra parsley for color, and voila, you have a vegetarian stroganoff for your Valentine.
I have got to be your sort of resident skeptic.
Okay.
I'm a big meat lover. I'm a big meat eater, and I really appreciate this recipe because I have dated a vegetarian before, and I'm always like, oh, what do I do? Because I just want a pile of meat on the meat on meat. So I'm gonna try this. Okay. I was ready to troll you so hard. I was gonna come in here and be like, oh, it's not as good as if I used it. Oh man.
Oh, so you're really actually gonna come in here and like bust my balls on this? Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you like it. I thought maybe he's just gonna fake it and be like, oh yeah, we love everything Jen does.
No, I might eat this whole thing. I've had like the pseudo meat stuff before. Not a big fan, but with the sauce and the pasta and the flavoring, like the seasoning, whatever you did to that, it's working really well.
Steak flavoring. I'm gonna have you back because you know what I normally serve with this is a vegan Parmesan toast. I do a vegan garlic toast with Parmesan, with vegan Parmesan that is so killer good, and I serve it like big crostinis with this.
What?
Yeah, I didn't do it tonight.
Crazy. That's crazy.
You'll have to come back as my Valentine.
I will come back as your Valentine.
Thank you so much for joining me for Valentine's Day and the vegetarian stroganoff. And if you want to find out more about me, you can find the link in the description box somewhere down here. And please subscribe to Tasted for more fabulous recipes and ideas. Of course, if you want to see more videos, please like this one. And if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, write them in the comment box. Happy Valentine's Day.